There are places where the veil between worlds feels thin, where echoes of the past refuse to fade. These are not just old tales or campfire stories. For those who lived them, they were terrifying realities. Tonight we delve into 3 accounts that many believe are chillingly true. Stories of entities that lingered, making their presence known in ways that defy rational explanation. Prepare yourself. Our first account takes us to Atchison, Kansas, and a seemingly ordinary house on a quiet street. In the early 1990s, a young couple, the Pritchards, moved in, full of hope for their future. They quickly discovered their new home was far from ordinary. Strange occurrences began almost immediately. Objects would move on their own. Lights flickered, and cold spots appeared in warm rooms. It started subtly, but the activity soon escalated dramatically. The focus of the activity seemed to be on Tony Pritchard. He reported being scratched and pushed by an unseen force. These weren't minor scratches. They were deep, painful marks appearing spontaneously on his body. The entity identified itself, or was identified by others, as Sally. Legend says a young girl named Sally died in the house during a botched appendectomy many years prior. But this wasn't the spirit of a playful child. The presence felt malevolent, particularly towards Tony. The activity became so intense and frightening that the Pritchards eventually fled the house, unable to endure the constant fear and physical attacks. The Sally house remains a notorious location for paranormal investigators. Our next story is perhaps one of the most famous American haunting cases, originating in early 19th century Tennessee. The Bell family, led by farmer John Bell, found their lives turned upside down by an unseen force. It began with strange noises around their farm, scratching sounds, gnawing, and knocking. These sounds grew louder and more persistent, eventually moving into the house itself. The activity escalated rapidly. Family members reported being physically assaulted. Hair was pulled, faces were slapped, and objects were thrown. The entity seemed to focus its torment primarily on John Bell and his daughter Betsy. What makes the Bell Witch case unique is that the entity began to communicate. It developed a distinct voice, sometimes a whisper, sometimes loud and clear, even singing hymns or quoting scripture. It claimed to be the witch of Kate Batts, a neighbor John Bell had a dispute with. The entity's power seemed immense. It interfered with daily life, tormented the family relentlessly, and some accounts even attribute John Bell's death to the entity poisoning him. The Bell Witch remains a terrifying legend, blurring the lines between folklore and frightening reality. Our final account takes us to St. Francisville, Louisiana, and the beautiful yet deeply unsettling Myrtles Plantation. Built in the late 18th century, this historic home is widely considered one of the most haunted places in America. Its history is steeped in tragedy and violence. Numerous spirits are said to reside within its walls and grounds. The most famous is Chloe, a slave girl who, according to legend, was murdered after poisoning the plantation owner's family. She is often seen wearing a green turban, just as she is depicted in a famous photograph taken at the plantation. Visitors and staff report seeing apparitions frequently. Figures appear in doorways, on staircases, and even in mirrors. The sounds of children playing or crying are often heard when no children are present. Objects move on their own, beds shake, and cold spots are common. The grand piano in the parlor is sometimes heard playing by itself. The feeling of being watched is pervasive throughout the property. The history of death and suffering at the plantation, including murders and deaths from disease, seems to have left an indelible mark. Each spirit adds another layer to the palpable sense of unease that permeates the air at Myrtles Plantation. These 3 accounts, the aggressive entity of the Sally house, the vocal and violent tormentor of the Bell family, and the lingering spirits of Myrtles Plantation, represent just a fraction of the reported true hauntings around the world. They challenge our understanding of life, death, and what might lie beyond. Whether you are a skeptic or a believer, the sheer volume and consistency of these types of reports are difficult to ignore. They serve as chilling reminders that some doors, once opened, may never truly close, and some presences, once awakened, may never truly leave.